electrolysis and the products in the electrolysis. Electro, by using electricity, lysis, breaking of a compound. If you are going to break a compound by using electricity, you can call that is electrolysis. Okay, in electrolysis, okay, generally we can use platinum electrodes, graphite as anode also we can use, sometimes steel as cathode, sometimes iron as cathode we can use. In general we use platinum electrodes. uh, these platinum electrodes are called inert electrodes. Inert electrodes means they are not going to participate in the reaction. So some examples I am going to give you. Aqueous NaCl, if you take, when it is aqueous, that means there is NaCl and water, both are there. NaCl will give you Na plus ions and Cl minus ions. Water will give you H plus and OH minus ions. Now there will be a competition between the cations as well as anions. When you are taking aqueous NaCl at cathode, H plus ions will be moving and they will be released in the form of H2. At anode, Cl minus ions are discharged in the form of Cl2 gas. And in the solution, or you can say in the cell, sodium hydroxide solution is formed. This reaction you are learning under the name of Nelson cell. Preparation of sodium hydroxide and preparation of chlorine, preparation of hydrogen also we use. What is the importance of this? When it is aqueous, okay, now first group elements, second group elements and aluminum, we should not use aqueous if you want the metal. Okay, now if you are using aqueous, definitely instead of metal there will be always hydrogen gas is released if you are using aqueous. If you want metal, you must use molten. Okay, now only molten. Aqueous NaCl, these are the reactions. So cathode hydrogen, anode chlorine, and the solution formed is NaOH, that is basic in nature. These type of points are important. More examples we'll see. NaCl molten. Now in right track. Sodium plus ions and Cl minus ions are going to form. So this will be discharged in the form of sodium metal cathode, and this is Cl2 anode. Okay, so in this way we'll see few more. If you take NaOH, you are taking NaOH only, NaOH molten, then Na plus and OH minus ion going to form. Na plus will be giving you sodium, OH minus will be giving you O2. This is at cathode and this is at anode. Okay, now cathode reaction, anode reaction. Sodium hydroxide molten will give you sodium, but this is an expensive method, so we don't go with this one. KCl, if you are taking molten KCl, K plus Cl minus will be giving you K, will be giving you Cl2 as expected. Nothing special in this. First group, second group, third group I mentioned. You can check all this. Cathode and anode, K plus and Cl minus I mentioned. Okay. Al2O3, alumina. Alumina is not a very good conductor, so we add there Na3AlF6 to increase the conductivity, and to decrease the melting point we add even fluorspar, CaF2. Okay, fluorspar and cryolite are added. This is called cryolite. When you are taking Al2O3, you will be getting at cathode aluminium, and at anode, interestingly, you will be getting their oxygen. Okay, now first fluorine comes, but actual product is oxygen. Aluminium at cathode and at anode oxygen will be there, Al2O3. If you are taking magnesium, magnesium chloride, if you are using fused means molten, magnesium you will be getting there, and chlorine you are getting here. Cathode and anode products. Okay, now at cathode, at anode. Calcium, you can use the same thing, molten calcium chloride, calcium and chlorine, no doubt in that one. Magnesium, magnesium chloride you can take. Okay, magnesium for what? First group, second group and aluminium, they must be in the molten state, otherwise there is no use. Now for example, aqueous copper chloride you are using. Copper and chlorine, aqueous is also fine for copper, there is no need of molten. Okay, aqueous is enough. And aqueous copper sulfate, if you are using, copper is okay. Instead of sulfate, you will be getting their oxygen. Sulfate ions and nitrate ions do not discharge easily. In place of that, you will be getting their OH minus ions only, and you are getting their O2 only. Cu and O2. Even copper nitrate also, if you are taking, copper will be discharged at cathode, and O2 will be coming at anode. Copper chloride, copper sulfate. Nickel also you can use the same thing. Nickel sulfate, nickel chloride, all D block elements, aqueous solutions are going to be enough. But interesting thing comes when you are using, for example, copper only you are using. Instead of these inert electrodes, if we are using copper electrodes, okay, now if you are using copper electrode in case of copper chloride, okay, now copper sulfate I take, copper chloride I take, whatever it is, okay, now at cathode you are expecting copper, at anode you are expecting O2 because sulfate is there, but instead of this you will be getting there Cu plus 2 because this electrode is called active electrode. If you are using copper sulfate, you are expecting O2, but Cu plus 2 comes. If you are using silver electrode and you are going for silver chloride or silver nitrate, okay, what we expect here, at a cathode silver is there. Yeah, it is true, cathode. But at anode you are expecting chlorine, but interestingly you will be getting there Ag plus. So this silver, copper, nickel, when you are using, they are called active electrodes. And whenever active electrodes are there, at cathode the metal will come. This is no doubt right. But at anode, the active electrode dissolves, or active electron undergoes oxidation, loses electrons, and they turn into their ions, their cations. So copper sulfate, if you are using copper electrodes, at cathode copper, and at anode it will be Cu plus 2. If you are using silver, then at anode that will be Ag plus. Very important point it is. It is because of the presence of active electrodes.